Do you remember that? You remember the interview that Bob Marley did? Somebody did with Bob Marley. They asked him about how rich
they asked him about how rich he was.
Have you made a lot of money out of your music?
Money. I mean, how much is a lot of money to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Possession make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
It was just that what he was saying is that I'm not rich because I have a lot of money. I'm rich because I have a lot of love.
Right. Well, my relationship with Kara it makes me wealthy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like not everybody has a loved one. See what I'm saying? See where I'm coming from? Like, not
some people only have money.
That's it. Some people don't. Some people are surrounded by fake people and keep them there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's poor. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel.
Before we get started, if you like what you're seeing, please like, share, and subscribe.
Speaking to this person last night, we were talking about the power of attraction. Oh, no, what's it called? Law of attraction. That was called law of attraction. And I was telling him how much I believe in it. And he said that's all a bunch of crap, and that thoughts don't really manifest, and that's just a book that was sold, and whatever. I was like, okay, so he's someone who. You have to see it to believe it type of person, right? I said, well, if you look back, I said, I asked him, I said, have you ever had a successful moment in your life? And he was like, yeah, I've had a few. And I said, okay, so there are things that you did, maybe not without you even knowing, that you attracted those things because you invested yourself in it. You know what I mean? And things just started to work out. Well, my belief is that it doesn't just start to work out. I think that your energy and your thoughts created that. So you had a thought about something,
right? You
put it out there, you made it manifest, and it became a reality. And he was like, I did something, and then it became a reality. I said, right, but you can't. You're diminishing your thoughts connected to that manifestation.
In order for you to do something. And for it to become reality, you have to think about it first, then do it. Because it's a combination of thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Right. That's
the whole point. The point is that you can't get one without the other, really.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to not only think about it, you have to be able to do it, and then you have to be able to actually feel it. And really, your feelings is what's more important than either of the other two. Because they say that when you put your feelings into it, you attract what it is. So that's why they say a lot of people think about having money, but how are you thinking about having money? You can think about money, but your feelings towards money will tell whether the money's coming to you or from you. So if you have thoughts of money, this is why people don't win the lottery, they say. Like a lot of people don't win the lottery is because they look at the word jackpot and they think it seems so far away. And so your feelings get lost in there. Like, oh, I may not even win, but I'm going to play. So, you know what I mean? So you already put out there, I'm not going to win, but many people put dollars in all the time.
Well, that's the thing is that even with lottery, since you're talking about that is true, because people, you really are kind of going against without you even realizing it, you're second guessing yourself every single time you buy another ticket. You know what I mean? Because what you're saying, in essence, what you're saying is, I'm probably not going to win, so I'm going to get 10 tickets. And so really, no.
The people who normally win, people normally win by one ticket.
Yeah, one ticket, same numbers.
And they usually play the same numbers, but they usually only buy one ticket. The people who buy lots of tickets, sometimes they do win, but not the jackpot. Right. They have to, and then you have to divvy that up with however many other people.
But the mindset of you going into that is, and this is what I was telling this guy. I said, I was explaining to him that there have been times, particularly before when we moved to New York. So we really wanted to go to New York really bad. We didn't know how we were going to get there. And I'm telling him the story. I said, we didn't know how we were going to get there. We didn't have the finances to get there. We didn't know anybody there. That's a whole different world out in New York. The way of life there is almost like you're in a different country. Yeah. Because it's just the way they do things is so different. So we did no job. Just there's nothing. Right. I was like, and he was like, right. I said, but when it came time to think about going to New York, it started with a thought process, right? We thought about it really, and then we got passionate about it. I got very passionate about it, and then we started to do everything New York. Now, this is before the whole Secret. Remember that the Secret DVD and book came out?
Actually, when I saw The Secret, I realized I'd already been doing it.
And
I was like, wow, I've done this many times, and it usually does work. They're right.
So this is
it's just
years
that now
before.
that we know it's The Secret, a lot of people have a hard time manifesting because now they're conscious of
thinking about that
in a sort of weird way. But before, when you were kind of naive of it, and you were kind of, that's what they say, like daydreaming and being a little bit naive and stuff sometimes helps you.
It does,
because it gives you that's the part of you that's creative. Your creativity and how you feel about creativity. It's the same thing with love. If you can think about love all day, but if you feel like scared of men, then even though you're thinking about finding a man, if you're afraid of men, you push them away. So then a lot of women will say, "Oh, I think about love all the time. How come I don't have a husband?" Well, there's a reason why. It's because how do you feel about love?
Right.
How do you feel about men?
Right.
You know what I mean? Same with men. I always think about having a good woman, but I don't ever have. Yeah, but how do you think about women? Because our past experiences make up our thought process. Our thought process makes up how we actually feel about what it is that we are actually trying to bring to us. And then our actions, even if we do an action, that's why they say your feelings are more important than actually your actions. Because your actions, even if you do it with negativity, like there are people who try to be really successful and you'll see them be doing everything. I mean, they're just literally making an effort. Yeah. In the physical, they're making an effort, but then nothing ever happens.
Because
and then you wonder why that is, and it's usually because they're either like I said before, I actually know a guy who's been working on being successful for years and years and years, but he isn't. And the reason why is because he's starting to become doubtful. Yeah. Although he's doing a lot of stuff, his inner compass is saying, I'm kind of doubtful, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm doubtful. I don't think it's ever going to happen. And he's actually said that. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Cool. And so as you're doing something passionately and then still thinking passionately about how you don't think it's never going to happen, then you're really like not creating anything but frustration. Yeah. And that's why people who go out there and they have passion, but they don't have a lot of money, and then suddenly they really believe it. Like they really believe what they're doing, they become something. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why it's important to tell your children that they're beautiful. It's important to tell your children that they're smart and that they're a genius and that they're really good at things and have them learn stuff. It's good at that age because we're at our most creative as a child.
To me, it's all vibration. So if you have low vibes about something, and even though you're deeply saying, I really want to do this, I really want to do that, I feel like if your vibration is really low and you're doubting it, then it's not going to manifest itself. Like to me, I think it's just not going to happen. Because like I was saying, even before we were going to New York, like there was a point in there where we started to do all New York things in Indiana. So we were buying New York Times. We have a New York Times sent to our home in Indiana. We were doing things.
We moved to a doorman building because most apartments.
Yeah,
we moved out of apartment. We lived for a long time.
We wanted to kind of manifest it. We didn't know we were doing that though. We just really were passionate about New York
because it was on the forefront of our mind. So it's like we started watching all these New York movies and Fashion Week and all kinds of stuff. Anything that was New York, we were actually doing.
And also, we wanted to be makeup artists, so we were really into the makeup thing, and we were just living up here.
We were already living it.
Yeah, like we were already living as if we were there, and then a bump in the road came where we. The money that was supposed to come in did not come in correctly, so we didn't get it. And it looked like at the end of all of this, we quit our jobs here in India. We quit our jobs. We didn't sign on the lease for our apartment. We really felt like we were going to go there. We didn't know how. So when the bump in the road came, it stopped. And God made it to where my mom, who we didn't even know was going to be able to help out, and that we didn't even know. My mother's a very private person, so
she paid for a whole year of us a rent.
Didn't know that was even possible.
Manhattan. So we ended up living in Manhattan in an apartment that we didn't have to pay for an entire year.
Yeah, and so
it gave us time to find jobs and all kinds of things.
Think about that. We didn't even know that she had
come from money.
Yeah, we didn't know that she had the ability to do that.
Right.
So we were just banking on just our feelings. Right. We didn't know that was going to happen. But what we did know is that we're going there. Yeah. And that was kind of like our focus. And I feel like that's your thoughts, your feelings. It all kind of it pushes you into your manifestation.
It's really like believing in yourself. Like we believed it.
Yeah, if
I would have never quit my job if I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a job. I quit my job with the intention. We gave ourselves a year to get there. And 1 year, I had to do it. You have to quit. You got to take a chance. You have to take risks. Risks are very important. Passion is very important. And your state of mind. Hey, this was good to be a little naive. Like people always say, oh, live in the real world. I wouldn't do that all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do gotta live in the real world, but I'm saying sometimes when you act grown up, it can actually hurt your creativity and what you really, really want in life. You know what I mean? That's why they say bloom where you are.
Yeah.
Because waiting tomorrow never comes is what they're trying to say. Tomorrow never comes. You only have today. So if you want to do something, do it now. And do it whatever you like God is like giving you. Like
if you believe in yourself.
Right. Right. It's just like you can do whatever you really want to do.
People don't really, but when you say that to people, like even like the old me would be like, no, not everybody can do everything. Not everybody has access to everything, but you can create a situation where you can get access to everything. People limit. People have limited thinking. And because of that limited thinking, their dreams become very limited and very, what's the word? I mean, Will Smith talked about this once where he was saying that sometimes your fallback is not always good. What did he say?
No, he was saying that he said your plan B. He's just saying that there's a lot of people tell you to have a plan B. When it comes to career, have a plan A and a plan B. And sometimes your plan B is the reason why you will never get to plan A. Because your passion is in plan A. If you think that you're going to fail plan A and all you ever do is think about plan B, then what you're doing is putting energy in the fallback and not in the actual the follow through, what you really want to do. And so that's what they say. Sometimes having a plan B is wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bet on yourself.
It's like it has to be aligned. Because even when we got to New York, we did makeup. We were makeup artists. So there was a point in the makeup artistry world where I'm good at it. I'm really good at doing makeup. I like to make people look pretty. You know what I mean? I like, it was fun. It was exciting for me, you know what I mean? And to be creative in that way, but my heart wasn't aligned with the makeup thing. So that's why it wasn't working out. It could have, but my heart wasn't aligned with what I was doing. Even though I knew how to do it, even though I had the expertise in knowing how to do it, and the follow through was good, I still, when your thoughts and your feelings are not attached to what you're doing, that thing is either going to die or get stale and stay still. Right. It'll never grow. So I'm like, that's when I just decided, stop pretending that you want to do makeup for a living just because you know how to do it. Just because you know how to do it doesn't mean that that's your dream.
I mean, it happens like whatever. I mean, like
it's a stepping stone.
Most of the stuff is like and most of the stuff is like in the Bible. It's just Bible passages, literally. Like, you know what I mean? Whether you believe in, just like you want to talk about the universe, you want to talk about the Bible, it's all the same, really. You know what I mean? You can find
energetically it is all the same.
Because God created the universe is God, whatever you want to call it, is what it is. You know what I mean? But when people really mean something, you really do it. I mean, like, look, I hate like saying like movies. I know movies are movies, but on that movie Gone with the Wind, when Scarlett O'Hara said, "As God is my witness, I will never be poor again," and she meant that. You know what I mean? And anytime you say something with that kind of passion and you mean that, it will happen. Like I don't care what my life looks like right now. I will never be poor again. I'm a rich woman. I came from rich background.
You have
and so
to
she
tell
lost
yourself
everything,
that.
and so she said, "If God is my witness, I will never be rich." She meant that, and she
What you tell yourself though, whatever you tell yourself, and I know this is from experience that if you keep saying it, it will become true, and you will start to believe it, good or bad. So if you're constantly telling yourself that you're not, good looking, or you're poor, or you're fat, or if you're constantly saying that stuff to yourself all the time, that all will become true for you. That will manifest. Anything that you say, good or bad, about yourself and about your life, you are bringing that. It's like a magnet. You're bringing that to you. So it's like I learned that like later in life, like like why isn't everything working out for me? Like why is it not working out?
When people everyone goes through hard times, but for some reason everyone feels like when they go through hard time they have to talk about it all the time. Yeah, you don't. And so that's like what it is. Like Joel Osteen's mother had stage 4 cancer and she didn't die. Yeah, and she told him, that's his, stories. Like she told him, I don't want any cards, flowers. I don't want anything like that. I don't want anything that reminds me that I'm here.
Yeah.
And then when she left the hospital, she's like, I don't want you coming over and acting like, I want things to be normal.
Yeah.
And so, because in the Bible it says, say tell the weak, say, let the weak say I'm strong.
Yeah.
And that's the the law of attraction. The weak say, let the weak say I'm strong. So if you say that you're strong, as I said, there's power in what you say in your tongue.
Your tongue.
You know what I mean? And so what you say all day is what you become. That's what they say, that what you think about, you're going to be about. What you say is very powerful. If you sit around, like Danielle said, you sit around calling yourself fat, ugly, I look old, then
poor,
you begin to look like that.
I'm broke is a joke. I was saying
I don't say anything. Even if you think it, don't say it.
Don't say it.
You know what I mean? At least give yourself that. Don't say it. An affirmative comment to yourself or to the world is much more powerful than a lower vibration. So when you say bad things to yourself, immediately say something better. Yeah. Because it means more, because it's a higher vibrating word. So it means more than anything like lower. Yeah. Like lower vibration. You know what I mean? So I don't ever say bad things about myself.
No, you can't.
You know what I mean? Like I don't feel sorry for myself. I don't you know what I mean? Like I even like when I talk about men to other women, and they always go, "Oh, they're men out here are dogs." I don't say that because it's not true. I don't want that. You know what I mean?
That's a really good example too, because there's a lot of women.
But that's what I'm saying. People engage in crap.
But there's a lot of women
that
get
mad when they actually get crap. You know what I mean? So no, not all men are bad. So saying that is factually, and that's another thing. Like people say, well, you have to fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? And things like that. I don't know how to fake it till you make it. Well, you don't. You just make it factual. Right. The truth is, no, all men are not dogs. And people always say, well, you can't feel positive all the time. That's true. That is true. Absolutely true. That is true. Your negativity helps you. Yeah. Your negativity is there to help you. It's a compass. It's kind of showing you where you are psychologically and mentally. So it's like, Danielle once said to me a long time ago when I had a really deep depression when I came home and we lost everything. You know what I mean? But Danielle once said something that did click, although I wasn't doing it. The moment she said it, I actually did believe it instantly. I can't wait to hear it. I didn't know. I didn't need time to sleep on it and everything. I believed it right away. I just had a hard time doing it. Okay. But Danielle was just like, you have the right to be sad. You don't have the right to be sad all day. Yeah. And that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So, you know what I mean? Like, but even though it was really hard, but the reason why it was hard is because I was training myself to be depressed. Yeah. Look at me. Woe is me. I lost everything. Like, I'm the only person in the world that ever lost anything. Yeah. Depression and negativity. Well, depression, although I understand there's some chemical imbalance. Yeah. I understand there's some chemical imbalances in people. There are people who are depressed where they need medicine. Yeah, that's a different thing. And then there are people who have lost something and they're just hurt. Yeah. So that's a difference, and that's a totally different thing. So we're talking more about right. I'm talking about what I was. Yeah, just a depression. It's like that does it takes a lot of energy to be depressed. Right. To force yourself to be sad. It's hard. It takes a lot. And like when I started, when Danielle said that, it took me like 6 months to sort of realize that I'm getting sick of my own self. Right. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, that's what you got to do is you got to start doing things. And you don't realize, it's funny is that you think you got to do a lot of stuff. You don't. It's really little. The only thing I did was get on a treadmill for 20 minutes. And my body was moving and my endorphins were going up. And then I started to see some light there. And then I ended up I've been working out for years now. Yeah. You know what I mean? It ended up being a thing I always do now. You know what I mean? There are many psychiatrists and medical doctors that say that working out is something they prescribe to people for a a natural antidepressant. Yeah. Working out, stress relief, deep breathing, that kind of thing. That's an actual non-chemical, natural way to have an antidepressant. Yeah. Because people, when you sit in sorrow, like I feel like when you sit in sorrow, you're just making it worse. Yeah. Like you're just making it totally different. Again, I'm not talking about people who literally have a chemical imbalance and need to be treated. That's not that. But I do think that, there's something to be said for, lifting yourself up out of something. And it's better to try to do it yourself. Because it shows your own strength. I do this thing when I am sad, because that's, I'm like human. I get sad sometimes. But whenever I'm sad about something, I do this thing that in my mind, that I call a positivity rampage. And so instead, how when you go through a sad rampage, you start putting yourself down. So I go through a positivity rampage. And it's easy for me to do now. I do it while I'm in the shower. if I'm feeling sad, and I just go, 'cause when I'm really sad, the one thing that makes me feel good is taking a shower.
Well, because
I will literally go take a shower when I'm sad. I for some reason, the water and the idea of just feeling like you're being washed, cleansed in a way, it makes me feel purity. Water it's like a psychological thing.
Right. Like, it has flow. Water is flowing, right? So water is very flowing. That's what it does. It flows. So it forces you to flow and move. It forces you to go.
You put yourself in a vulnerable state. But what I'll do is a positivity rampage, and what that is for me.
Well, you just say it to yourself.
I say everything that I'm grateful for having. And I guarantee you that whoever's watching this, who's feeling negative, I guarantee you, if you just if you go on a positivity rampage, you will not feel sad. I guarantee you.
It's almost impossible.
Like if you start talking about everything that you have and what you're grateful for, and you just keep saying it over and over again, you will start feeling happy because you realize that you have probably much more than most. Yeah. And then you start feeling like, yo, I am in the running. I am doing well. Everything is okay. Don't compare yourself too much. Yeah. But when you stop comparing yourself, turn off your social medias and your television, and you literally sit with yourself and just go on a psychological rampage of every last thing you're grateful for, no matter how small.
I saw a quote today that said, don't sometimes when you're having a hard time or when you have setbacks in life, people are looking at the entire staircase. Don't do that. Just look at the first step. Just look at that first step, because that's it's like monumental to when we had Start Over, which is the reason why we even do this show, based on that situation, is what brought this. Is because I realized that, there's people out there. I know there's people. Well, first of all, we get emails and stuff. So there's people out there who are going through something really hard. It can be a variety of things, but really difficult. And what they do is they see that staircase, like, oh my God, I am never going to get there. And I'm like, no, you have to really just look at that first step. Because I'm telling you right now, I did the same thing where I was like looking at the entire, like, how am I going to get to where I need to be when I'm in this situation, when I have $0 to my name, right? It's like, no, but you have to, and I read, if you just look at that first step, then that's where we're starting here. Because we'll get there, but we can't do that right now. Just here. We're here right now. So, like you're saying, you go on that pod. I like that. I didn't even thought about that before.
I do that all the time now.
I meditate, so I never really thought.
That depression thing that I went through a few years ago made me realize that, one of the things the reason why I was so depressed was not just because things were happening, like I lost everything. You know what I mean? But what it was the things after you lose everything, you lose everything. That's it. It's over. It really is. That's it.
When it happens at once.
But when it happens at once, what I'm saying is that the act of it all gone is gone. Yeah. So now what you're left with is the psychological part of losing, like, family and losing money and boyfriends and material wealth, things like that. You feel naked. You know what I mean? Naked. And maybe that's why I do. Like I said, when I'm in the shower, I'm naked. So there's a sense of vulnerability in that, and being nude, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And so whenever I do that, every single time I feel down. I don't feel down often, but when I have those human moments where I feel some sort of way about something, that's the first thing that I do, and I sit in quiet, like I'm like in a quiet space, and I literally will put my face in the water and just say over and over in my mind, like, everything that I have and what I'm grateful for. Sometimes I'll sit on my bed and go around the room and think about everything that I have in this room that I'm grateful to have.
And I don't think people pay enough attention to gratitude. I think that we take it all very for granted, the things that we have. So that's why it was kind of like like blessing in disguise for us to have to experience not having anything or losing everything, but still having, you know what I mean?
It's like, you have to thank God for your, like, strength.
You do.
Because you know what? Nothing, you're never going to go your whole, I don't know why people think, positivity, people think that because you're positive, that you're never, like, if I get positive, all of a sudden nothing bad is ever going to happen. That is just not true. First of all, everything is bad that happened isn't really bad.
It's not bad.
It's just, sometimes you're changing. Your life is changing, and it's sometimes uncomfortable. Sometimes it's mostly uncomfortable things that happen to you. But just because you go around and you're happy and you're having a good life doesn't mean that things don't happen that make you uncomfortable and scared. That's always going to happen. But the things that you need to be asking for is like strength to get through it, because you're gonna have a life of that. I don't care if you suddenly win a $10 million. It's not gonna end your pain. There's gonna be things that are still gonna be painful in your life, and so you have to have the strength to get through those. Like I said, rich people kill themselves. So it doesn't mean that because you have money or you have looks
doesn't mean
anything. Marilyn Monroe was really beautiful, but she was a druggie.
It's the way
she was an alcoholic. So why would a woman that has all that money and all that fame, and she's like the standard of beauty of that time, be a boozed up, drunk? Because that's not all it takes to be happy. It's not. And
you couldn't tell me. I mean, years ago, you really could not tell me that a big house, a beautiful car, a husband, some kids. You couldn't tell me that. That's the stuff that that makes you happy, Daniel. That's you. Once you have all that, you're gonna be the happiest ever. And maybe, but I'm just saying that it's interesting to know that when you don't have any of that yet, right? We're a good example that you can find happiness. Like it's there, right? It's there for you to find. First of all, and you don't need all of that. So when you have all of that, like when I have all of that, not if, but when it happens, that's like icing on the cake. That means it's going to be phenomenal. My life is already pretty phenomenal and unique. So I feel like in its uniqueness, like I feel proud. I feel proud of myself for being able to even get to mentally. To get to where I'm at right now, because I can tell you right now, a few short years back, this was not it. I was not feeling this way. I was feeling pretty lost. I'm a humongous overthinker. Like I'm a worry wart just by nature. I'm a worry wart by nature. So like when you're saying you do what's it called? Positivity rampage. Like because I am so much of a worry wart, in order for me, because I'm human, it's going to happen. I'm not going to act like it doesn't. I have to just stop and literally breathe. Like people don't take enough, do enough breathing either. You know what I mean? Breathing is a form of meditation too. Not just sitting there and
they say, but it's almost like Danielle's a warrior. I'm not a real worry person, but I am hard on myself. Yeah. See, I mean, so it works for both of us in different ways. It does, so I say the reason why is I know that I am so hard on myself. If I mess up on one thing, I beat my own self up. But I'm not a worrier. Like I don't get worried about things all the time. But there are things like a couple weeks ago, I was working out and I only did like 30 minutes. And I was kind of beating myself over 30 minutes workout. But then you know what I did? I stopped and thought to myself, you know what? You got dressed. You did 30 minutes. Right. You could have just sat there and said, I don't feel like doing this. But even though you did not want to do it, you got up, got dressed, and you did 30 minutes. Even if you would have done 10 minutes, that would have been better than doing nothing. Like one of my favorite songs is by Dolly Parton, and it's called Coat of Many Colors. And there's a part in the song where she goes that you're as rich as you think you are. Yeah. And I'm not talking about money all the time. I'm talking about having family. I'm talking about having love for yourself, being blessed with lots of with abundance that's around you that you don't even acknowledge.
Do you remember that? You remember the interview that Bob Marley did? Somebody with Bob Marley asked him about how rich
they asked him about how rich he was, and he kept.
If I could find that clip, I'll put it here. But
have you made a lot of money out of your music?
Money. I mean, how much is a lot of money to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what do you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Possession make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
He's like, are you wealthy? The interview kept saying, how much do you have? How much money do you have? Are you a millionaire? Like, and he was just like, are you rich? He said, it depends on what you mean by rich. What do you mean by rich? I mean, he didn't want to talk about money, although Bob Marley had money. Yeah. It was just that what he was saying is that I'm not rich because I have a lot of money. I'm rich because I have a lot of love. Right. And I have a lot of love to give. And that's first. That's first. Yeah. That's always first. Right. You know what I mean? So
we're rich.
Right. I'm wealthy. Very wealthy. Very wealthy. You know what I mean? And I don't let.
Well, my relationship with Kara it makes me wealthy. Yeah. Because I feel like if I didn't have, now everybody has a loved one. See what I'm saying? See where I'm coming from? Like, not everybody only have money. That's it. Some people don't. Some people are surrounded by fake people and keep them there. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's poor. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I have a good frame of mind and still able to be joyful, have a good relationship with my sister, build a relationship with my mother. You know what I mean? Like the things that it's like that's what makes you wealthy. You know what I mean? And as corny as that might sound to some people, It really isn't. Even like, if you want to talk about material stuff, okay. For a long time, I was saying, "Oh man, I'm broke. We're broke. We have no money. We are completely." When I say broke, we had not 2 nickels to rub together. We had no money, zero. Right? It wasn't until years later you realize maybe stop saying you're broke, Danielle, and you won't be broke. Maybe start expecting checks. You know what I mean? Start expecting stuff. So when we started doing that and changing the way we thought, money started to come in out of nowhere. We had nothing.
You have to create. You have to create your life.
You do,
and they say bloom where you are. You have to start with what you have. You understand? Like, say you want $2 million. You don't have that right now. What you can do is create a small wealth.
Yeah, you can.
Where you are, whatever that is. You know what I mean? And then let that grow.
Right.
And then what happens is your mind starts to not need money. And once your mind doesn't need money in that sort of desperation way, well then all of a sudden the world starts to look different. And then you start getting money. Things start getting paid for no reason.
Right, for no reason.
Checks that you didn't even know that
were
coming to you are coming to you. You know,
I'm a good example even recently. Like, so I do taxes, right? I'm the one that does the taxes for us, right? So I've been doing it for years.
That's before you get started. That is something that include in my grade, because Danielle does our taxes every year, and that is something I do not want to do ever. And you know what? I just whatever it comes, it gets done for me.
It does,
because my sister does it, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I've been doing it.
People are like, that is the thing.
Yeah,
I don't want to do taxes. I mean, someone does my taxes for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing it for years. Years. So I'm like a pro at it. And I'm pretty quickly when I do it now, so I know how to do it. But the taxes were, for some reason, they got held up. I'm talking about from 2018.
Yeah.
And so we've been waiting for tax money since 2018. And then 2019 happened. I filed those, waiting for that. It still didn't come in. And then this whole stimulus situation happened. And so I'm like, I'm still waiting for money from 2 years ago. What's going on with the taxes? I'm like just panicking over it and always thinking about it. It was always on my mind, and I never got the money. Right, I never got the money. Kara, however, surrendered the thought of it and just like, okay, well,
no, yeah, it's like for me, like I just knew, because we were already doing well. So for me, as long as I'm doing well, I'm okay.
Right, but the worry part of me...
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between us. Like, as long as I'm doing well psychologically, I can let something go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but go ahead.
Okay. Oh, okay. But, I was going to say that, right, you have the ability, you do that. See, Kara, this is the part where Kara is instrumental in my life, because you have to have someone like that. You know what I mean? There's things about me that help her, but this is it. Because I'm a worry person, right? And I think also because I'm the one that does it, that I visually seen the paperwork, you know what I mean? So it just worries me, like, where is it? 2 years, like, where is it, right? And I wasn't letting it go. However, Carol was letting it go. She wasn't really thinking about it like that. And all of her money came in. All of her tax, but mine's didn't, by the way. Let me just stay there. All of her money came in. She got all of it. And she's like, oh, look, I got money. Wow, 3 checks. Right? Got it. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Right? So then I'm like, well, where's mine? I filed mine at the same time. I sent it out the same time. They got it at the same time. Right? Our names are the same last names. It's not like it was like my name. No. So I was just like overthinking it for months. It wasn't until probably like 2 months ago that I just literally, not even lying, I surrendered the whole thing. And not only I forgot about it, but I didn't even, it literally consumed 0 parts of my mind. Only when someone brought up taxes when I would faintly think about it. But for the most part, I just, the thought's over, right? Yeah. And then my money came in. So
there you go.
It all came in. All of it came in all at once. And I feel like that is only because I didn't have like I wasn't suffocating that thought anymore. Like I was just kind of letting it go and kind of living life. Because when you're a slave to something, you know what I'm saying? When you're a slave to a thought, when you're a slave to an item or money or whatever it is, it just engulfs you. You know what I mean? And you can't stop thinking. It consumes all of you. And then when that happens, it's like you never get it. Yeah. And it's just because there's more to you than just this little money. Yeah, there's more to you than that. And I feel like that's the kind of lesson I learned with this whole thing. There's a reason why I had to wait 2 years. You know what I mean? To get this. It's not because of the money. It's because there was a lesson I need to be learned with that. I always think of things that happen in our life as lessons anyways. Like this whole situation to me is lessons. Every time something of opposition happens, I'm like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What am
Yeah.
What am I supposed to learn from this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when people say, like, why me? What do you mean? Who should it be? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, why did this happen to me? Okay, well then who should it happen to? Right? Yeah. Like it's why you? Mm-hmm. What am I? That's not the question you should be asking.
Yeah, I mean,
the question you need to be asking is, what am I supposed to learn from this particular thing? As hard as that is to do in the moment, you still have to ask that question to yourself. So I just want to put that out there, you guys. What do you guys think about power of attraction and the law of attraction, the thoughts linked to manifestation? Like I think that it's directly linked just from experience. I believe that. So tell us what you guys think about that.
Okay. But one more thing, I just want to say, one more thing that I think the reason why a lot of people don't want to believe in the law of attraction is because it puts it in your own lap.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for what it is that they put out in the world. It's easier to blame the world, like your job. I lost my job, my boss is this. You know what I mean? A lot of people hate their job and they get mad when they get fired.
Thoughts,
you know what I mean?
Feelings, action.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is that people don't really, in a weird way, people don't want power.
They don't.
Because they feel like if they have the power to do this, then that puts a lot of pressure on you to be successful. You can't say you're not successful anymore because now it puts you in charge. It's easier to blame other people than it is to just say, okay, well, I just didn't do this. This is the way I think. You know what I mean? I'm not making any conscious decisions to think about it. You know what I mean? I'm feeding myself the wrong things, but since I don't want to take responsibility for that, I'm going to say it's because I have to go to a job I hate every day.
Yeah. Comment below and let us know what you think about this topic. If you guys have any questions or video topic ideas, go ahead and email us. I'll put the email, as always, here. And we will answer your email. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We would greatly appreciate it. And everybody have a really good day. All right. Bye, guys.